A house like that right across the street from the beach might pull in $80,000 or $90,000 a year in income. It might. And then if the thing's just appreciating like crazy, if it's doing well, crap, sit on it for a couple of years, use it, let it, be a place where you and your family go when you want, and let it appreciate, make some cash flow in the meantime.
Yeah. So I will definitely be running the numbers.
I'm sure you will. Welcome to the BiggerPockets Best Deal Ever show. I'm your lovable host, Ken Corsini, who with my wife, Anita, have flipped over 800 houses in Atlanta since 2005 and even have a show on HGTV. But this show isn't about us. It's about all the amazing real estate investors out there that are crushing it. It's about their stories, their best deals, how they sourced them, how they funded them, and what we can learn from their experiences. This is the Best Deal Ever show. Hey, this is Ken Corsini with the Best Deal Ever show. Today, I am joined by my good buddy, Jay Connor. Jay, how you doing, man?
I am doing fantastic, Ken. How are you?
Man, I couldn't be better. It's a new year, off to a good start. Going to drop a few pounds this week. That's the plan.
I hear you, man. I hear you.
Right. So now tell us what part of the country you're in.
Yeah, so I'm located here in eastern North Carolina in a really, really small town called Morehead City, North Carolina. Population 8,000 people. So my total target market's only got 40,000 people in it. We do about 2 to 3 deals a month. Average profit $67,000 each. Thank goodness I ain't got much competition.
Holy moly. I mean, that's a small market to be operating in, but goodness gracious, that's a great average profit.
Yeah. So obviously to get that kind of profit, you got to do some rehabbing.
Yeah,
so
sure.
We rehab most of our houses. We've since we started, we've done about 400 rehabs so far.
Okay. And so what is your target market? I mean, Morehead and there's a couple surrounding cities?
Yeah. So we're just in 2 small counties. And in fact, we're in Carteret County. And I mean, the whole county's only got 65,000 people in it. And then we're in a little small town called Havelock or Cherry Point, North Carolina, that's in Craven County. Mm-hmm. That's neighboring to us.
So how far north are you? Are you up like as north as Raleigh? Or are you kind of down in the southeastern corner?
We're 3 hours due east of Raleigh. So we're right on the coast. So we're like the southernmost tip of the Outer Banks. We're 3 hours straight up the coast north of Myrtle Beach, an hour and a half north of Wilmington.
So you're close to Ocean Isle.
Yeah, not too far.
Okay, so we've done some vacations out there. Gorgeous, man. The Outer Banks are just spectacular.
Oh, for sure.
So so how far are you then from the beach?
3 minutes.
Really? I didn't realize you're right on the coast. Man, that's nice.
Oh, yeah.
And there's the population's that small, that close to the beach.
Yeah, now we go to about 250,000 in the summer. I mean, our main industry is, vacation and resort.
Yeah.
But this, in the off season, not much traffic.
Starts to feel like a ghost town probably a little bit.
That's right. That's right.
So how long have you been at this?
Bought our first single family house in October 2003.
Okay. Gotcha. So you kind of worked through the whole recession and made your way through it.
Yes, I am down cycle proven and tested.
That's right. That's a good way of putting it. I started in 2005, so I guess I'm part of that club as well.
Exactly. Well, my story was a huge blessing in disguise. The first 6 years from 2003 to 2009, I relied on the local banks to fund my deals.
Yeah.
And in January 2009, I got cut off with no notice, had, deals under contract and went to go, get them funded. And I found out in a very, very short conversation that I had no lines of credit left. And so, Ken, my definition of coincidence is God's way of staying anonymous. And so in less than 2 weeks, I was introduced to this wonderful world of private money. Yep. And I don't mean hard money. I mean doing business with individuals. And so in less than 90 days, I was able to attract $2,150,000 in private money from individuals. So really the first 12 months after getting cut off, our business tripled for 2 reasons. I had plenty of funding available. And I could make all cash offers. And with the downturn, there were just fantastic deals to buy.
Yep.
And since I had the funding available, we were able to take advantage of it.
Well, and the good thing about private money, and we're the same way, it's very similar story. We had some bank lines that basically poof went away when the regulators came in. The good thing about private money, yes, you typically pay a little bit more in terms of interest rate, but the flexibility to move quickly and not mess with appraisals and draw requests, man, it's a game changer, isn't it?
Oh my word, is it a game changer? I mean, one beautiful thing about private money is we get to set the rules.
That's right.
We get to set the program. We set the interest rate. We set the terms and all that. And, Ken, you're probably like me or I'm like you. I've never asked anybody for money to fund my deals.
That's right.
I simply put the program out there. And where else are they going to get these kinds of rates of return safely and securely?
That's right.
And if they've got investment capital or if they've got, retirement funds, then they're going to want to, they're going to want to take advantage of it. And the beautiful thing about putting your program together, I frame myself as a teacher. When somebody asks me for the first time, they meet me, they say, Jay, what do you do? My answer is I teach private lenders how to make a lot of money. They have no idea what I said, which is the point of the answer, because it leads to or can lead to an interesting conversation to where I can give them some education about what private money and what self-directed IRAs are as well.
Yeah. No, I love the way you frame that. And essentially, you're creating an opportunity for somebody. You're not asking for anything. I love that.
That's correct.
So out of all these deals that you've done there in North Carolina, is there one deal in particular that stands out as your best deal ever?
As a matter of fact, it's one that's underway right now. We just closed on it about a month ago.
Really?
And so when I say best deal ever, I'm talking about the amount of profit and how quickly that it will turn. So typically, I mean, here in my area, the median price is like $225,000 here on the mainland. Now, we've got across the bridge on the Outer Banks on the island, that's a whole other world over there.
Right. Totally different.
But that's where I've bought this property down at Emerald Isle, North Carolina, which is the opposite end of the island. So this house we just closed on, and I bought it all with private money. $480,000 is the purchase price.
Okay.
And the after repaired value is $780,000.
Goodness.
So it's I'm gonna put about $100,000 in it, and that'll take about 3 months it's all cosmetic, but it's a huge house. It's got like 3,300 square feet. It doesn't sit right on the beach.
Yep.
But it's on the first row, if you will. Like you got the beach, you got the street, and then this house sits right here across the street, 3 stories. The view, I mean, on the 3rd story, it's like you're on a cruise ship. All you can see is ocean.
Really? Oh, that's nice.
So we found that deal through our Facebook marketing.
Okay.
And that's where we get a lot of leads still today.
Now, let me ask you this. Is it paid Facebook marketing, or is it just like on your page or your personal page? Like running paid ads?
Paid ads.
Paid ads. Okay. Ads. Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. And so it's an inherited property. There were 5 heirs and 3 spouses that would have to sign. So there's 8 people we had to negotiate with. So one of the takeaway lessons from this deal is some of your most profitable deals do not happen overnight.
That's right.
These people first contacted us, responded to our marketing in April of 2019. We didn't close on it until November 2019.
Yeah.
And so there was, and none of the heirs live here in North Carolina, and they're spread all over the nation. And so, from the time we were talking to them and when they were going to come here, I mean, they have no interest in keeping the property.
Right. So,
so it was that was a 7-month negotiation, but I'll negotiate for 7 months to make a couple $100,000 less carrying costs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a lot of times, like you said, it's just patience. Let it work through probate, get the signatures, and there is a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right?
Exactly.
So I'm just curious then, on your Facebook marketing, what do you do that makes it effective? Because a lot of guys have tried it and kind of burned out. Anything specific?
Yeah. So, of course, consistency is key, and we all know that. So we're rotating the ads out every day.
New ads.
There's a new ad or in rotation. We run about 7 different ads, so it's like one fresh new ad a day. The only criteria that we put it on is the zip codes where we market.
Yep.
And 35 years old and older. That's it.
Okay.
That's the only criteria. But I mentioned the word follow-up a moment ago. We have found that sellers are a lot like buyers, and that is, in marketing, the older the colder, the older that lead is, the more time that goes by between when that lead comes in and actually getting back to them, the less likely you're going to do business. Our call to action, I don't even have, on our website, I've got a phone number you can call, but the actual call to action is we ask people to text us, for an all cash offer.
Interesting.
And so our call to action changed in 2019 that's how people communicate, right?
Right.
So our call to action is for them to text us. And then, of course, we want to get them on the phone and talk as soon as possible.
Yep.
But since that's the way people are used to communicating, then we just speak their language.
Interesting. So do you even have a form fill on your website? It's called, or is it just you do? So
they have an option. Yeah, they can fill out the form to get an offer, or they can text us.
Okay.
If they want to start out communicating like that and answering any questions. And another thing that we found out the hard way is just worth the money to have an assistant that will talk to these people by text. So, what we did for a while is we would say, like they would text us, and then we would say, please call us and we can give you all the details. Well, most people just don't want to talk to you until they've warmed up with you through the texting avenue.
Yeah. So you have an assistant that's just sort of begins the correspondence by just a conversation over text.
That's correct.
Interesting. It makes a ton of sense. You're 100% right. Nobody wants to pick up the phone anymore. They want to send a text or send an email.
Yeah, and they want to make them. They want to make sure that you're real. That you're a real person, and that's how they warm up.
Yeah, and if you could be real friendly over text, then you could also probably, like you said, you're warming them up to when you have that. You're building a little bit of trust too.
That's right.
Interesting. So Facebook ads is your primary acquisition route, and then you're doing a lot of texting.
Well, actually, it's not my primary route. That's where that one came from. Okay. Actually, my number one source now is through organic searches.
Okay.
And so I started using this company last year, and they are amazing. They're out of California. The name of the company is SEO Tuners.com. And they focus and they specialize in SEO, search engine optimization, organically for real estate investors. So, any real estate investor that's using Carrot or On Carrot,
right?
They know that backwards and forwards. And so it takes about 90 days to 6 months for them to, and there's like 25 keyword phrases that they work on getting you up to the first page and the first 1, 2, or 3. So on Google Maps, they got me in number 1 position on over 20 keyword phrases in less than 90 days.
Wow.
So my website on Google Maps is in the top 3 now all the time when somebody's searching any, the motivated seller phrases. And then they've got and then besides the Google Maps, then just having you on the page. So as I said, 90 days to 6 months to get you up there. So it's $600 a month,
Goodness, that's amazing.
Which is, in our world is no money, right?
Yeah, right.
For the marketing. So they're my new secret that is now no longer a secret.
That's right. I might have to edit this out. We'll see.
Exactly.
It's too good. That's too good of a secret. That's awesome. Well, so getting back to the house. So you just bought this thing for $480,000.
Correct.
Sourced it through Facebook. How did you finance it? I'm just curious.
All private money.
It's all private money. And just curious, how do you structure your private money? What does that look like?
Yeah, so it's 8%.
Nice.
Interest only. Depending on the private lender, they get paid either quarterly, semi-annual, or annually. I don't stretch interest out more than a year. Of course, I'm not planning on keeping this house for a year anyway.
Yep.
But, on that size house, I'll stack more than one private lender.
Okay.
So obviously there's only one in first position and others in secondary. But, I've got 48 private lenders. So there's lots of years of experience and trust with these people. So, these people, for years now, they could care less where the house is, what the numbers are. It's just like, Jay, how much do you need and when do you need it, kind of thing.
Yeah. So do they care that they're in second, third, or fourth position?
No.
And do you change the interest rate? Are the terms a little bit better if they're
if in a junior position? I'll pay 10%, but that junior money is typically going to be small bits of money, typically.
Yeah. So like on this deal, how many lenders do you think you have? Just curious.
3
lenders. Okay. So you got a primary and then a couple juniors.
That's right.
And the juniors are typically at 10% rather than 8%.
That's right.
Okay. Interesting. So what sort of renovations is this house going to get?
Everything that your eyeball can see. So it is exterior paint.
Okay.
So all exterior paint, 3 stories. That line item right there alone is $12,000.
Sure. Yep.
Huge house.
Yep.
All interior paint. We're going to put luxury vinyl plank throughout the house, except in the kitchen and baths will be really, really nice tile. The principal bathroom is a wreck. As far as the layout. So we're just gutting the entire principal bathroom and redoing all that. Kitchen cabinets are nice. We're able to keep those, except we're just going to paint those. It's got, the house was built like back in the early to mid 90s. And so it's got corian. So we're getting rid of the corian. We're putting in granite. And let's see here, what other major items. Those are the major items, but there's some windows that need to be done. 2 new HVACs. Mm-hmm. So we've got some large line items in the project. My average rehab typically is only like $30-some thousand.
Right.
But my average house is also like 1,700 square feet and not 3,500.
And that's what. Is this the 3,500 square foot house?
Yeah.
35. Well, that's a big old house. And you said 3 stories too, right? It's a typical beach house.
Yeah. Oh, and it's got, it's a beach house, and it's got huge wraparound decking on the second floor and the third floor that needs some repair and some structural updating as well.
Gotcha. It's funny. I actually have a house in Florida, and it's very similar. It's the same thing. It's a 3-story, and it's just under 4,000 square feet. And we did a massive rehab on it. Holy moly! It cost us way more than $100,000 because I'll tell you, the beach will beat up a dang property. It is the air around it. It's just so corrosive that we ended up having to replace all the siding, took off all the stucco, and then you got all sorts of rotted framing you didn't know you had. It was just, man, it was a beast of a rehab.
Yeah. Well, and on this, I recommend to my students, I don't care how long you've been rehabbing houses, just don't buy a house without a home inspection,
Yeah, totally.
I went for years without doing the home inspection thing.
Yep.
And, I got bit pretty good on one, on foundation stuff about 2 years ago. And I said, Jay, $400 is a pretty cheap insurance policy to really know what you're getting.
You're exactly right. Yeah. It's not worth it to not get it.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. That's awesome. So when you sell this thing, your agent's already told you, we think 780 is the number. You'll have 100 in it. So you'll be in it for about 580, selling it for 780.
Correct.
That's a slam dunk. That's
a nice one.
Was there any part of you that wanted to hold on to this as like a beach rental?
When I get it ready to go, I will definitely run the numbers and see really what would it, will it cash flow, given what I'm paying the private lenders. Now, this could be an opportunity after it's all rehabbed. This could be an opportunity for one of my commercial lenders to refinance it.
Totally.
And because right now, as of, today's podcast, it's pretty easy to get commercial money at 5.5%, 5.75%.
Yep.
Versus 8 and 10 with the private lenders. So I might consider refinancing this baby and just seeing what the cash flow would look like.
A house like that right across the street from the beach might pull in $80,000 or $90,000 a year in income. It might. And then if the thing's just appreciating like crazy, if it's doing well, crap, sit on it for a couple of years, use it, let it, be a place where you and your family can go when you want and let it appreciate, make some cash flow in the meantime.
Yeah. So I will definitely be running the numbers.
I'm sure you will. Okay. So you've been at this for a long time. You've done a number of houses. How has this particular deal changed your mindset? What have you learned from this? How are you going to, change your business going forward?
I got bit pretty bad, like way back in like 2005 or 2006, by investing in properties on the beach, because when the downturn came along, resort properties get hurt worse than anything.
True. Yep.
So I guess one big takeaway on this particular deal is I practice and I teach my students, keep your main focus on bread and butter houses, on first-time home buyer properties.
Yep.
Because that's where your largest pool of buyers are.
Yep.
If you're looking to flip and cash out. So one big takeaway on this house is I'm reminded from my experience back in 2005, you better have a big spread. I mean, the bigger the investment, the bigger the spread, because bigger the risk, right?
That's right. Yep.
So you better have a big honking spread when you do these kinds of properties.
Yep. That is great advice, because you're right. The vacation properties are the first to go the second that economy turns. Get out, and have some room there in case you got to drop that price.
Exactly.
That's good. Jay, man, this was a good one. I really appreciate you coming on.
Hey, thank you so much for having me, Ken. I appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk soon.
All right, we'll see you.
Thanks for listening to the Best Deal Ever show, brought to you by BiggerPockets. If you've been energized, entertained, or enlightened by today's show, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Ken Corsini, or check us out online at redbarnhomes.com. And don't forget, one man's best deal ever may be the inspiration you need to create your next best deal. So, hope to see you on the next episode.